We're Nigel and Diane. We're taking 6 weeks out to tour some of Europe in our converted Scottish ambulance.
In the last video we left Annecy and we drove round to Chamonix at the foot of Mont Blanc. We spent 2 nights next to a glacial river before we made our way north through Switzerland and into Germany. Stick around and see how we get on. Glorious day here in Chamonix. We are walking in from our park up. It's about a half-hour's walk into the town. We're going to go and find a laundry and then we're going to go and explore and see what this place has got to offer. But judging by the views, we're not going to be disappointed. Right, so we've got the train up to Mer de Glace. It's probably about 20-25 minutes on the train to come up. It's one of these cog trains. I can't remember the name for it, but I'll put it there. There's a platform where you can go and view the glacier, but to be honest with you, I think the glacier is sort of reduced to such an extent now that it's so far around the mountain that you really can't get a feel for it. There are some cable cars that will take you down into the glacier, and then there's an ice cave where you can go and explore. Fortunately we've got dogs with us, so we weren't able to do that. But also around this whole place there's so many trails. You can come up here, take in the glacier, and then you can spend 2 or 3 hours longer just walking around the sides of these mountains and going higher. There's a trail that carries on 3 hours further up to the top, which has got a cable car you can come back down on. So this is our park up. We've been in Chamonix for 2 nights now, and this morning we're going to head off. We've got to go back into this town properly, do a couple of jobs there, pick up our laundry, empty the wastewater, empty the loo, and top up with water, see how we're doing on fuel, make sure we've got a full tank before we go across to Switzerland. Switzerland is about half an hour up the road. We've got to go and buy a vignette first, about 40 Swiss francs, and that sort of covers most of the road tax and the tolls and stuff like that for driving in Switzerland. So anyway, we've been parked up alongside this river. I'll just flip you around so you can have a look. It comes off the glacier that we were at yesterday morning. Right across on the other side of the river there is the air rescue helicopter pad, and they've been coming and going throughout the day, no real problems, but you know, it's actually quite cool to watch them. A few nighttime takeoffs as well, so makes you wonder what's going on. The park up itself, there's not too many vans in. There's a bit of space over on the left hand side, and then there's a few more vans there, a couple of French ones behind the yellow van, and then the rest of us seem to be Brits. Right, well, we've crossed over into Switzerland. Absolutely no problems there. There was a little shop where we could buy a vignette, 43 Swiss francs I think it was, and that just sort of prepays all the tolls, a bit like a sort of a road tax, lasts for a year. And we've driven a bit, I don't know, 5-10 kilometres further along, and just find a cracking place to pull in and give give Smee a walk. Alice is not feeling it today, so Diane stopped back at the van with her, but we'll give him a run. Anyway, have a look at this. Check this place out here. So, and I've got a feeling when we go around this bend here, we'll have a view of the one of the glaciers and the mountains. So anyway, I'll show you that when we get around the corner. So last night was the first time we used a paid park up. It's a sort of a cross between a campsite and an air in France, and it cost 26 Swiss francs, about £24. It's all done online, so it's a trust thing. You don't need to book or anything. You just turn up, park up, scan the barcode or scan the QR code, and just go through and pay for your pitch. I guess if somebody comes around or checks or whatever, you can have it electricity, which was an extra couple of euros, an extra couple of Swiss francs, sorry. It's not the most glamorous of locations, but there was a big storm coming in last night. In fact, you can probably still see the edge of it behind us. A lot of lightning, some very, very heavy rain, and so we really didn't fancy being up in the hills, so we just thought, right, come down to the flatter ground, the lower ground, and we'll be okay there. Anyway, this morning we've got a bit of emergency. We're running low on coffee, so I'm off to go and find a supermarket, get stocked up on that, and then we'll be on our way again. Alright, well, we've changed our plans a bit this morning. One of our dogs, Alice, the older one, has been a bit off for a day or two, and this morning she's not eating at all. She won't get up. Slept most of yesterday as well. Had a bit of water, so we know, all the sort of internals seem to be working okay. But we found a vet in I don't know this place actually. We found a vet anyway. It's about half an hour away, so we are. They've managed to see us, but we've probably got to wait a little bit. So Diane's down at the vet's with Alice now, and I've just taken this chance to walk Smee and pick up a coffee. Fingers crossed that they can give her some tablets or an injection or something like that, and we'll see how we get on. But we'll report back shortly and see what the vets have said. We've stopped early today because, as I said earlier, Alice isn't well, and we don't want to sort of make her any less comfortable than we need to, any more comfortable, any less uncomfortable than we need to. She's had an injection of steroids. The vet has given us some antibiotics and some other tablets to give to her, and we'll see how it goes over the next day or so. But essentially there seems to be a mass pushing on her throat. We're hoping it's just some sort of inflammation or swelling that can be treated with the antibiotics, because we haven't really noticed anything over the past couple of days. She seems to have gotten a little bit brighter, but she's not eaten for a day and a half now, but she is drinking water and she is going to the loo, so you know, bits and pieces seem to be working there. Anyway, as I said, we have stopped in a Swiss forest. It's a little motorhome park up. I'll give you a quick tour around. Like everything in Switzerland, it's pretty much a chargeable thing. So I think this one with the, let me get this right, with the tourist tax comes in at 21 euros, and really there are no facilities. It's just a really nice, pleasant woodland area. So yeah, we're going to be here for the night, and depending on how Alice gets on, we're just going to have to moderate our sort of activities, I guess. You know, nothing too strenuous, and we'll just sort of plod on steadily, keep an eye on where we can find a vet if we need to, and we'll just sort of take it day by day. We're at the top of the Furka Pass, just under 2,500 metres. The drive up is just sensational. The views absolutely mind-blowing in every direction. Quite fortunate, although there's a strong wind, and you're probably getting some wind noise on this. The clouds are lifting now and just starting to show the tops of some of these rocks, some of these mountains, which is just fantastic. We think we've got about a half an hour drive down the other side. So we're going to take that steady and just prepare for the smeller brakes all the way down. But if you're up this way and you get the choice of the Grimsel or the Furka Pass, come up the Furka Pass, you won't regret it. Good morning. The weather's taken a bit of a turn. We've got a lot of low clouds sitting over the top of us. Originally last night we'd parked up high up on a pass, I'll show you in a moment, and it was a great spot, very sort of Jurassic Park looking, but the clouds sunk so low that we were just getting torrential rain, so we dropped down the pass, found another spot only about 5-10 k's on in next to a river here. Beautiful little spot, and we're in this valley of these most dramatic mountains. The cloud is sort of just tumbling down them, and it looks very, very atmospheric. The rain I don't think is due to let up at all today, so it's going to be a wet one. So we're just going to figure it out, probably drive down the pass a bit further. We're still at about 1,400 metres here, so we'll probably drive down a little bit more, see what's down there. We're having to take it steady. Alice hasn't really rallied. She's had a couple of moments where she's picked up a little bit, come out of the van. She's had a little bit to eat, and we're managing to get some tablets, or some of her tablets, into her. But the bulk of the time she's just sleeping, so she doesn't seem to be in any pain at the moment. So we're going to give it another day or two, just keep trying to make sure she's comfortable, give her some food, and we'll take a view in a day or two, unless anything takes a turn, you know. Right, so we are going to get some coffee, and then we're going to get on our way, and we'll show you a bit more later on today. we've come through Switzerland now. We left our previous park up on the other side of the Clouds and Alps, and we drove north and around the sort of Zurich region, across the I think it's the Obersee and the Zurichsee lakes, and we're in Germany. We have stayed overnight, as you can probably see behind me, in a German apple orchard, an apple farm, and it's the farmer sort of lets you use a bit of his field for a cost. If you follow us on Instagram, you may well have seen, or you'll already know, that we lost Alice. Yesterday morning she took a turn for the worse, and we had to find a emergency vet in this Swiss town, and unfortunately after some discussion, really her health was so poor that the kindest thing to do was to let her go. So as you can imagine, that sort of pretty much put the kibosh on our day, and it will do for a few days. It'll take some time for us to get over it. We'd had her for 4 years. We had rehomed her once she'd come from a rescue, and so she loved being out in the van, and but she just had no sort of energy, no quality of life left at all. So the kindest thing to do was to let her go. Anyway, we are going to end this part of the video now, having come through Switzerland. It wasn't, because of Alice, it wasn't as of an adventure as we had hoped it to be, but there'll be time and we can go back to Switzerland at another point, and taking the sights a bit, with a bit more enjoyment. So as I said, we're going to end this video now. Our next one, we are going to start our drive across the Bavarian, or the Alpine, which is a route 450 kilometers, I think, goes along Bavaria all the way to the Austrian border, and there should be some fantastic sights to see there, castles and Schloss and lakes and spas and of course mountains. It's been 20 years since we were in Germany last. We lived here for a while, and so it's good to be back here. We're going to take you along on this trip, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.